AEW Dynamite Grand Slam delivers some of the biggest ratings and viewership numbers for AEW in close to a year. Several more names have been released by WWE. We'll let you know which names have been let go by the company. And could Vince McMahon be paving the way for an exit from WWE? Well, the latest SEC filing suggests that despite the merger to form TKO, McMahon could be heading for an exit or at least keeping his options open. Hey guys, welcome back to Wrestling News 365. Hope everyone is doing very well. As always, there are plenty of news stories to get into in the world of professional wrestling. Let's start off talking about the ratings for AEW Dynamite Grand Slam at Arthur Ashe Stadium and the viewership figure and key demo rating for Wednesday's September 20 Grand Slam edition of AEW Dynamite on TBS has been revealed. Per Sports TV ratings via Brandon Thurston of WrestleNomics, Dynamite drew 984,000 viewers, which is up significantly from the September 13 edition of the show that drew 888,000 viewers. This is the highest total viewership for the program since the February 22nd episode. In the key 18 to 49 demographic, Wednesday's show scored a 0.36 rating. This is also up from the week prior that scored a 0.31 rating. This is the highest demo rating for Dynamite since the September 14, 2022 episode. Again, about 1 year ago, just over 1 year ago. Of course, the show featured MJF defeating Samoa Joe to retain the AEW World Championship, while Eddie Kingston finally defeated Claudio Castagnoli to retain the New Japan Strong Openweight Championship and win the Ring of Honor World title as well. In comparison to the last 2 years, the first two episodes of Dynamite Grand Slam did do over 1 million viewers, so this is the first edition of the show that did under 1 million. What are your thoughts on the ratings? What are your thoughts on what this means for AEW? Is this proof once again that AEW is going to struggle to get over 1 million viewers despite one of, if not their biggest episode of Dynamite of the year? Let me know your thoughts about that. Or do you see this as a massive success for AEW, considering again it's the highest demo rating in over a year? Let me know your thoughts as always about it in the comments section below. Now, one of the biggest stories dominating the headlines, of course, over the last 24 hours has been the talent cuts from WWE, and we covered these yesterday. However, more names have now been confirmed to have been released by WWE. We'll get straight into them because, again, they kind of slowly came out overnight. We had heard yesterday that there was going to be a second round of cuts around sort of 5 p.m. Eastern time, 10 p.m. over here in the UK, and certain talents have gone to social media to confirm that they are no longer working with WWE. The first to announce their departure was Quincy Elliott. They confirmed their release on Instagram. Elliott signed with WWE in 2021, had been part of the NXT brand, also appeared on NXT Level Up. They last wrestled on the July 21st episode of NXT Level Up and was seemingly the first name to confirm their departure as in the next round of cuts. The next name to be let go was Bryson Montana. He confirmed his release on social media as well. He last wrestled on the June 16 episode of NXT Level Up. He made his NXT Level Up debut in May 2022. So initially people thought it was just going to be sort of developmental names on the NXT roster, things like that. But that indeed actually was not the case because other main roster names were also let go as well. One being Dana Brooke. Now, Dana Brooke's been with WWE for quite some time. She was also released on September 21st. She had been part of WWE for about a decade. She actually joined WWE in 2013. She was called up to the main roster in 2016. During her time in WWE, she held the WWE 24/7 title, I believe something like 15 times. She had been recently appearing on NXT on September 12, losing to Lyra Valkyria, of course. This year, there was bits of controversy about having her signs confiscated at certain shows, which generated a bit of an uproar on social media. She wasn't happy that she wasn't being used on television that often, so requested to work in NXT, had been working in NXT, but now, after nearly a decade with the company, has been let go. Now, the next names to confirm that they had been let go by WWE were the Maximum Male models themselves, Mace and Mansoor, or Mace and Mansoor, depending on how you want to look at them. Now, this was actually confirmed by Mace on social media. He said, quote, "After almost 10 years of making something out of nothing, I'm excited to spread my wings and be myself for the first time. Let's take this anime reference to the next level. Step into the Grand Tour." Now, they then went on to social media to talk about their release and things like that. We'll have more details of that in another video that's coming out today. This is going to be the first of 3 videos coming out today, so stay tuned. And if you haven't already, be sure to click the like button and be sure to subscribe. Now, when it comes to Mace, whatever you want to call him, he was released, as I mentioned as well. He had been a Raw commentator for a short period of time as Dio Madden when it was premiere week, and when you had, obviously, the relaunches of Guests of Raw and SmackDown and NXT back in 2019. If you recall that, SmackDown went to Fox. The commentary team there was Michael Cole and Corey Graves. The Raw commentary team was a massive shake-up at the time. It had the likes of Vic Joseph, Jerry the King Lawler, and again Dio Madden, who had been doing some commentary, I think, for 205 Live or something like that at the time. He was quickly replaced. He wanted to be a wrestler. He went back to NXT. Then he became a member of Retribution, that long-forgotten faction during the pandemic era of WWE, where he was named Mace. He then became, as I mentioned, a member of the Maximum Male Models as well. He commented on social media that he was looking forward to his future. Mansoor was an interesting one, of course. He was also released as part of the Maximum Male Models. He signed with the company in 2018. He last wrestled on the May 15 episode of Monday Night Raw, competing in the Intercontinental title #1 Contenders Battle Royal. Of course, many had assumed that he was signed due to WWE's relationship with the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. They wanted to make a Saudi-born star and kind of turn him into a star, things like that. Had appeared on a lot, if not all, of the Saudi shows as well. Even win some high-profile big matches on these Saudi shows as well, defeating names like Cesaro, winning Battle Royales and other, because, again, he was a Saudi person on a Saudi show. So they have also been let go. The next name to be confirmed to have been let go by WWE, it was confirmed by Sean Ross Sapp on social media, was Shanky. He was also released from his contract. He had spent time on the main roster alongside Jinder Mahal. He recently wrestled, actually, at the Superstar Spectacle event against Gunther not that long ago, and prior to that hadn't wrestled in a long time. He, as I mentioned, was teamed with Jinder Mahal for a while. Then he turned babyface. He had a dancing gimmick. It looked like Vince McMahon was certainly a fan of him, but once Triple H came into power late last year, then suddenly Shanky kind of disappeared from television, so it wouldn't come as a huge surprise indeed that he was let go. The next name to be confirmed as departing WWE was Dabba-Kato, Commander Aziz, Babatunde, went by quite a few names actually in WWE. He was also released from his agreement as well. He signed with WWE in 2016. He competed in the WWE Greatest Royal Rumble match in Saudi Arabia in 2018. He later became Dabba-Kato, competing on Raw Underground during the sort of pandemic era of WWE, kind of a staple during that period of time as well. He then became Commander Aziz, helping Apollo Crews defeat Big E for the Intercontinental Championship at WrestleMania 37. That's when Apollo Crews was doing his Nigerian gimmick, and Commander Aziz was kind of Apollo Crews' henchman for that. He was also part of the WWE Main Event movie on Netflix after the Apollo Crews thing kind of fell apart and they were no longer doing stuff. Went back to NXT, became Dabba-Kato once again, and really didn't do anything more of substance after that. So he also had been let go too. We also heard that Yulia Leon has been let go as well. The contract was terminated as well. Fightful had confirmed that. She was growing as a tag team performer alongside Valentina Feroz on WWE NXT, but she has also been let go. A couple of other names were also confirmed to have been let go late last night as well. This was kind of coming throughout the day too. Names include the likes of Daniel MacArthur, who was a Performance Center recruit. He confirmed that he had been released. He was signed at SummerSlam, or around the SummerSlam tryouts of 2022, but never made his in-ring debut. Kevin Ventura Cortez departed WWE. He announced his departure on Instagram. He was also signed in 2022 and once competed against the Viking Raiders alongside Javier Bernal on an episode of Raw. Alexis Gray confirmed that she is no longer part of WWE. She was announced again as in a 2023 Performance Center rookie class. She actually never made her in-ring debut. And Brooklyn Barlow confirmed that her time with WWE had come to an end as well. So a lot of names that were really on the periphery of certainly NXT and also the WWE main roster, in addition to those big names, Dolph Ziggler, Elias, Shelton Benjamin, etc., have all been let go. Now, as far as some of the reactions to all of this as well, Sean Ross Sapp of Fightful Select has provided some more details about some of the names that have departed. One being Mustafa Ali, of course, was the name really to kick this off yesterday. He was the first to announce that he was no longer working with WWE. Of course, Ali had asked for his release back in 2021, but it was quickly rejected. He was taken off of television. Fightful Select are reporting that as things stood, his WWE deal was actually up in the spring and summer of 2024. Those that Fightful spoke to in NXT had no knowledge that he was going to be released and noted that he'd even worked through an injury to make this NXT run happen. One of the more surprising names as well, as I mentioned, that got released yesterday was Elias. Now, Elias had not been on TV in quite some time, but Fightful are reporting that they have been told that he has not been injured as of late. In fact, Sean Ross Sapp is reporting that Elias had been pitching ideas up until around a month ago. Fightful had been asking about his contract status for quite some time. There were rumors about his contract expiring, but now he's no longer with WWE whatsoever. Riddick Moss was another name that was let go yesterday. Of course, during different periods of time, had received somewhat of a push from WWE, in particular when he was Madcap Moss under Vince McMahon's created stewardship, of course winning the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal back in 2022. Riddick Moss had been a favorite of Paul Heyman when he was running Monday Night Raw and was someone that Heyman felt could go to the main event level. Unfortunately, according to Fightful Select, many others in the company didn't share that sentiment and he struggled to get booked. Now, when it comes to other names that were released, possibly the biggest and certainly the one that generated, I guess, the most traction on social media with several people paying tribute to his WWE career was Dolph Ziggler. Now, Dolph Ziggler, who was actually ready to leave WWE years ago, but according to Sean Ross Sapp, got talked into staying with the company. I think this is most likely around the sort of 2018, 2019 time when it was rumored that, again, he was going to be leaving. Those that Fightful spoke to said that originally his WWE deal was set to extend into next summer, which would again put that period of time around 2019 where there were rumors that Ziggler was open or possibly going to leave WWE and then possibly signed a 5-year contract, which would make sense considering that his contract would expire next summer, but he is now no longer with WWE. Aliyah was a name that many people were expected to be on this list according to Fightful Select. She had been signed with the company since 2015, was drafted to SmackDown in 2021, but barely used. She did become a tag team champion, but had not wrestled on or off television in over a year since losing the titles. Fightful are told that she was rarely, if ever, brought to television and was not factored into plans creatively. So, again, it wasn't too much of a surprise. But what are your thoughts on the next wave of talent releases? Do you think that this is it, or do you think there'll be more names to come? Let me know your thoughts and reactions to all of it in the comments section below. Finally, this is a fascinating story surrounding Vince McMahon and potentially his exit from WWE. Now, this comes from a report from Axios, which is kind of speculatory, so it's not like confirmed information or anything like that, but it's certainly very interesting. And according to Axios, Vince McMahon is hinting that he wants out of WWE according to regulatory filings tied to WWE's recent merger with the UFC. Now, the new combined entity TKO has registered all of McMahon's shares for sale, thus enabling him to avoid the lockup period that applies to other TKO stockholders like Endeavor and Silver Lake. McMahon currently holds 28.84 million TKO shares, which was valued at $3 billion as of yesterday's market close. Actually, TKO stock went down significantly yesterday after the news of SmackDown's new television deal, in addition to the deal to bring Elimination Chamber to Australia next year, to Perth, in addition to obviously the talent releases. Now, TKO first disclosed its registration plan on page 184 of an SEC filing earlier this month, and neither the company nor McMahon is commenting any further. On first glance, this simply seems to be about giving McMahon flexibility, or maybe even giving TKO flexibility given the ongoing investigation into him at a federal level, particularly given that the subsequent registration statement filed last week doesn't include any underwriters. But the same filing says that McMahon, alongside 2 other TKO executives, quote, will be selling stockholders in this offering, end quote. Now, that's a definite verb tense penned by lawyers who are paid a lot of money to be accurate when it comes to this. So why does this all matter? Well, McMahon is one of TKO's greatest assets, in their mind anyway, given his knowledge of the business. That's why he participated in the listing day at the New York Stock Exchange last Tuesday, despite being on medical leave related to spinal surgery, posing for photos with Endeavor CEO Ari Emanuel and UFC President and now actually CEO Dana White. But he's also, as I mentioned, in addition to internally from Ari Emanuel, one of the greatest assets, he's also one of the greatest liabilities, not only for past misconduct, including payoffs to cover up alleged sexual misconduct, but because in July he was served with both a federal search warrant and a federal grand jury subpoena, although the nature of the investigation is unclear, and McMahon hasn't been charged with a crime as of right now. TKO itself said in this regulatory filing, quote, McMahon's membership on our board could could expose us to negative publicity and or have other adverse financial and operational impacts on our business. His membership may also result in additional scrutiny or otherwise exacerbate the other risks described herein. Any of these outcomes could directly or indirectly have adverse financial and operational impacts on our business. Now, neither TKO nor McMahon are commenting on the article. So certainly it's a really interesting piece that's been written. Some are suggesting it's just a case of giving TKO and Vince McMahon an out if things do go sour regarding these investigations. What are your thoughts on it? Let me know your thoughts about it in the comment section below. Be sure to smash a like on the like button, guys. Be sure to subscribe bottom right hand corner. As I mentioned, we'll have another news video coming out later today in addition to the regular one around sort of 8 to 9 p.m. British summertime here in the UK. So if you haven't already, be sure to subscribe, bottom right hand corner, and I'll speak to you again very, very soon.
Hey guys, thank you for watching, listening, streaming, or however you come across this video today. Be sure to click on the video on the right there to watch our next video, or click the bottom there to subscribe, or the bottom right hand corner. Thank you very much, and I'll speak to you again very soon.